in a way, that's my failure, because you shouldn't really, nothing should specifically stand out. You're trying to put the audience in a world that they're immersed in, and everything should flow as a piece.
As one of the best performing series on my channel, I thought I'd come back with yet another episode regarding some of my favourite techniques that I use in my cinematography. Keep in mind, these are techniques that will make your cinematography look more appealing, but they tend to be a bit stereotypical. They will make it nicer to watch, but they won't make you a better cinematographer. That's something that only comes with experience. I feel as though this series is coming to a bit of an end, so as the penultimate episode, if you have any of your own cheat codes that you have been using in your cinematography, then leave a comment down below and I may put them in my next video, with credit of course. In today's video, I'll again be looking at a couple of cheat codes that you will be able to use in your future projects. So you've just started out shooting and you don't have any lights, but you want your images to look like they do in a blockbuster. Well, your best option would just be to expose for the sky and use the sunlight as your main source. When I first started out, I also used bedsheets as diffusion, but if you can, grab a 5-in-1 deflector and use the silk-like material in the middle, since it will be easier to hold as well as being much more portable. Now obviously the time of day you decide to shoot at is incredibly important. Like most, I prefer to shoot at either sunrise or sunset, otherwise known as magic hour, since the colour in the sky is usually just incredible. You can also shoot at other times in the day, but you don't want the sun to be too high since it's just not as flattering as when it's lower in the sky. Whilst this tip is about using sunlight, it's quite difficult when you're indoors. In those cases, throw a sheet over the window and just use lamps around your house, whether you decide to use them as key lights or simply practicals. Like with anything involving filmmaking, you use what you have available at the time. Right now you may only have sunlight and the odd lamp around the house, but give it a few more years and you'll have access to whatever you want, within reason. Now, this is not really a cheat code per se, but it's so incredibly important. Just because you have access to an Alexa Mini doesn't mean you should be using it. For example, I have a cinema camera that when I rig out is huge and quite heavy. I also have a DSLR that is much lighter. The cinema camera obviously looks better and it would be much easier to get a good looking image out of it, however it's simply not practical. The job called for a small form factor camera that also looked good and overall is easy to work with, and if that means not using a cinema camera, so be it. If you are watching this, then you probably don't have access to an Alexa or even something like a C200, so whilst it's so cliche to say, just use your phone. You could have an iPhone 7 and if you know how to utilise light, compose and expose properly, can keep it stable, then you can create a good looking image, possibly as good looking as if you had shot it on a DSLR. Simply choose what works for the project. Don't try and bring a camera that, even though it looks marginally better, isn't even practical. It's really not worth the fuss. Trust me.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Overall, the fastest way to become a better cinematographer is just to practice. You can watch all the videos you want and I can make all the videos I can, but for us to become better at telling the story through images, we need to get out there and shoot. I hope you enjoyed this video on a couple more of my cinematography cheat codes. Watch out for the next and possibly final episode where I will be looking at my favourite techniques. If you found this video helpful, a thumbs up is appreciated, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.